The inconvenient truth. The inconvenient truth about Ghana. The time is 9:28 a.m. The date is the 9th of December, 2020. The day is Wednesday. In Hebrew Ethnology T993, Kweku and Ikuya, source characteristics, controlling advocates. You could say solicitor, or dimafo, or kamafo. A judge, law, they are lawyers. Like Nanado, Nana Kweku Akufo Addo. Nana Kweku Akufo Addo. The inconvenient truth about Ghana. Ghana is corrupt. The inconvenient truth about Ghana. Ghana has no democracy. Although they have one on paper, it is not practiced in reality. And the truth, the inconvenient truth, reveals itself at elections. Elections is for the people to pick the right leader. If one person dies out of election violence, it means the election process is broken. More than one people have died. The inconvenient truth. Ghana is broken. Successive governments and current government and probably future governments have decided and have taken action not to improve Ghana. Promises upon promises. 62, 63, 64 years after independence. Thursday, last week, 4 kids. Listen, I'm talking about Ghanaian government not willing to tackle the real problems of governance. 4 kids died in a kiosk. They're burnt alive in seconds. What is the problem? Up to 80% of Ghana's population live in those conditions because the nation's governments, they have refused to sort out a housing problem. Public housing problem. There is no public housing. That is the problem. So many people who cannot afford the rents of the cities and the areas, well, the populated areas, they are forced to live in kiosks, wooden shacks with their futures, their kids, and everything. Everything they're working for will be held in these wooden kiosks. Up to 80% of Ghana's future live in these conditions. That is the problem. And the problem stems of the housing, the lack of public housing. But with every problem, there is no immediate solution for every problem. That is recognized. There is no immediate solution for every problem. So you have to find alternative solutions whilst you're looking for the ultimate solution to solve the housing crisis. Over the time, I've seen kiosk after kiosk being burnt down. Estates, kiosk estates, that's what they call it here. Kiosk estates being burnt down. Torch after torch, this after that after this. People losing their lives, kids losing their lives. The governments are not willing to tackle simple problems. What is the solution? If people are forced to live in these sheltered, homeless shelters, whilst the transition for public housing is being made, then protection has to be offered. Any sensible government, any loving government, any caring government would have said, you know what, we cannot even start telling people to break down the kiosks. Why? Because it will be wrong of us, because we haven't made provisions to cover. But wood is not safe, it's flammable. Our kids will die because we care. So let's look for solutions. Treated wood to give people a chance to escape. One solution. Reactive paint. which doesn't allow fire to consume and take over. Second solution. Public mandate, a government mandate to make sure that there is regulations to meet. If you have to live in a kiosk, then you are registered. So it is known who lives in the kiosk, how many people live in the kiosk, the location of the kiosk. But the kiosk itself, public mandate, it has to be treated with this. It has to be this wood. It has to be like this. It has to be like this. It has to be built like this. If it's for 4 people, it has to take this much space. If it's for 5 people, it has to take this much space. If it's for 6 people, then we have to definitely find housing for them. That's an emergency because it's dangerous. Fire protected blankets, this, that. So many things. Because why? You're a government, and at the end of every 4 years, you expect these people living in kiosks to vote for you. But yet, you fail to address the issues that really affect them. The issues that kill their kids, that kills Ghana's future. There's never any money in the pot, but election time, parties have money to physically give. Election time is the only time. Now I understand why Ghanaians turn out to vote, because they don't really have a real reason to vote. And I hear it. This is not me. This is commentary. Someone said, if you dedicate yourself to a party, eventually, good or bad, eventually, and when they say good or bad, they don't mean in a bad way. They mean even if the party is not doing too well, if you dedicate yourself, it will get to a point when they're distributing money for campaign, you will be top. That's all it's about. Children are dying, no solutions. They just making laws and laws. Oh, free education, my ass. Commentary. Me, I speak to the kids. I ask them, free education, be honest with me. How did they improve school for you? Those that slept on the floor said, I still went and slept on the floor. All it meant was that now I had no reason to come home. That's all it meant. I had no reason to be home because mom and dad knew that the school fees had been paid. So now they can relax, but they didn't really care about the conditions I was living in. They didn't really care. Plus, free education didn't mean that the education got tooled up. That they got the microscopes, the binoculars, the testing tubes, the science kits. They didn't get none of that. They didn't get extra books. The real true parents said that, in fact, free education wasn't free because then it meant that the school found other ways to extract money out of them. Free education didn't provide extra books. I'm not saying it wasn't a good idea. It was a good idea, but it wasn't well thought through. But most of the kids in public schools live in shanty houses. And even the public schools, some of them are built out of wood. If our leaders cared, I didn't hear one leader or potential leader speaking about public housing in the way I'm speaking about it. Recognizing that 80% of Ghana's population live on a time bomb. A time bomb. And then addressing the issues with that time bomb. Our markets, one fire, boom. Problems, where are the solutions? Where are the solutions? Lives are lost. People's livelihoods are lost in one. Our governments do not think. They do not think about you. They don't govern for you. They don't govern for you. You're not meant to tell them you have a housing problem. They're meant to recognize they have a housing problem, because governments are fully aware of the human rights law, and the human rights law says it is your government's duty to provide you with public housing that's fit for human habitation. And the human rights law stipulates that if your government is unable to do that, then they need to provide you with homeless shelters that's fit for temporary accommodation. And the human rights law stipulates that they need, when they put you in temporary accommodation, to give you a rough time of when they're going to publicly house you in what is considered as a house, a home. If your government has failed all these, the least they can do is buy you some paint. Paints that will save your life. Because get this, they don't want to think about it because it's not a problem for them. They live in big mansions. Some of them have fire sprinklers. So if a fire ever came on, they're all right. You paid for it. Ghana, you paid for it. They get that luxury, so they don't care. Someone said they'll build more mortuaries for you. They won't build more houses for you. They'll build more mortuaries for you. Someone said, one district, one factory. You will all become manual laborers. No, one district, schools equipped. Progressive, you give them free education. The next one is equipping the schools so the free education can be seen not to be free fees, but actually free education. Let me explain the word education to you. People pronounce it wrongly. The word education is not actually how you pronounce the word education. The word medication is not actually how you pronounce the word medication. I'm going to pronounce it to you properly and break it down for you to understand. The word for education is actually pronounced like this. Educator-ion. Educator-ion. Let me explain it to you. I-O-N, the last three letters at the end, ion, that's a word on its own. And that word, it means when cells attach to each other. When cells attach to each other. Ions. So when something is receptive to something, it attaches itself to that which it's receptive to. So for example, if something is not attached or something is not receptive to your body, technically that's cancer. Anything your body is rejecting, that's cancer. So the word educator-ion, it has two meanings in one. Educator is what the teacher is teaching you on the blackboard. Educator. The lesson is educator. Now, how the teacher, the manner in which the teacher uses to explain what they're trying to explain to the students, that has to have ions in it. It has to have receptive cells in it. So we're talking about teaching on a different level, teaching and making sure that your teaching has ions to suit possibly 30 people in the classroom. Now, this is the proof that what I'm saying is true, because cancer medication, because we all have different blood types and different blood groups and different whatever DNA groups, the same medication for cancer for patient A won't work on patient B. What it means is that patient A's cells were receptive to that medication, but patient B's cells were not. So in this case, in the classroom, those who received the education, those who understood it and passed and did very well, those are the only people that can be said to have received educata eon, because the eons were added for them. But those who were in the same class but did not understand and therefore did not do well, they simply received educata. Educata is what the eye sees, what the ear hears, but not what the mind processes or the heart takes in. You didn't get it. But does this make you stupid? No, it didn't. It just proves that the teacher, so immediately what they should do after a few months is say, okay, these are the students struggling in this teacher's class. It means this teacher doesn't have the eons to penetrate these students. Immediately get them out, put them into another class and test again. Eventually you will find a teacher that even the people you call dumb are brilliant with. So, coming back from educata eon to medication, same principle. Someone is going to take something that is considered as medicata eon. Sorry, medicata, but you think is medication. But the doctors, they have no certainty, they have no way when they are applying the medicata the first time that this person's cells will receive it. They have no way of telling. And they actually go in to do that blindly. A best example is penicillin. You have to get a reaction for them to know you have a penicillin problem. But get this, if you don't get a reaction ever, and if you don't know, and if you don't tell them, they'll inject you with it, and then find out the problem afterwards. In that case, they were doing what we call test trials. Test trials. You usually know it, but every time a doctor prescribes medication to you, is a test trial. Because get this, they keep record of your improvements and they feed that back to the manufacturer using your blood group, everything. So the manufacturer is then able to look through this information to see where their medication most suits. And if they find that there's a particular blood group which it suits, they will hit on that. So your doctor is not just a doctor. He's a salesman, he's a marketer, he's a statistician, he's everything. He's a data collector. If you get an allergic reaction to the medication the doctor gives you, it means the doctor simply gave you medicata, but that medicata did not have eons that were receptive to you. Therefore, you were not given medicata eon. You were simply given medicata. Medicata. There were no eons attached. At least no eons that your body is receptive to. I'm telling you, they don't care. They don't want to give it to the people. Election, I don't care which one. All of them. Election time, they're there. Blah, 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 rah, 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 sa, sa, sa. When I come on, I'll do this. When I come on, I'll do this. Someone said, when I come on, I will get rid of corruption. I'm not tolerating it. Someone said, what do you call it? Listen, it doesn't matter. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. We live in a country where we dig gold, timber, diamond, cocoa. Listen, I gave someone an analogy. I said, Ghanaians are acting stupid. Ghanaians are acting stupid. But I don't get it, because around the world, Westerners, when it comes to Africans, they have a certain reverence for Ghanaians. But not all Ghanaians, but I'm not going to mention any names. But when I've now come to Ghana, I don't see where they get their standing to have those reverences for Ghanaians. I don't see it. Because they tell me that Ghanaians are intelligent, but I don't see it. I don't see it. Listen, there are housing problems. They don't have housing, public housing. How's that not big on the campaign issue? On all parties, they have a chaos estate living condition problem. How's that not addressed by all parties? Who are you building all this infrastructure for? Dead people? Zombies? Because that's what Ghana will be when the fires come on. Simple solutions your government failed to provide or even failed to think. They just simply think of. In England, they have a nursery rhyme. I'm going to explain the nursery rhyme to you. They have a nursery rhyme. It goes like this. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And all the king's men and all the king's horses couldn't help to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Humpty Dumpty was an egg. You see, Ghana is an egg. It's an egg that's very fragile, because you see the egg, it holds life. It holds the finest combination and the finest filter of earth, water, air, and sun in the embryonic fluid, which in the spinal column hides the laminin channel. The laminin channel, the distillation, the laminin 111 channel, the distillation of the four elements that come together to make life. So an egg preserves all that in that fragile shell you see. Ghana's like that. The soil is beautiful. The soil is fertile. We need to preserve it. The waters, they're beautiful. They have healing qualities because of the strawberry that grows along their banks. They release natural enzymes that help the body to flourish. We need to protect that. Because our forestry is good and because our waters are good, then our air is good. We breathe in clean air. We live healthier lives. So we need to protect that. And then the sun, the final one, hits on us, gives us photosynthesis, combining earth, water, and air together to produce the energy needed for growth. It's a delicate climate system. But it's a delicate climate system that, if looked after, always hatches, just like an egg, always hatches beautiful chicks, beautiful people. But Ghana's a broken egg, like Humpty Dumpty. That's why, that is the real meaning of politics. Hey guys, come and fix that which we have messed up and broken. You are the most intelligent on the land. We have picked you. That's what governance is about. But it seems in Ghana, in Africa, and now all over the world, every successive government just keeps breaking it and breaking it and breaking it. All the kinsmen and all the king's horses. In Ghana, we have a folklore hero. His name is Kweku Anansi. Wednesday born. So President Kweku Anansi Addo. But get this, you see the devil, we also call him Kweku Bonsam. So the Wednesday born can be a hero. And the Wednesday born can be a villain, but it's within them. And they are also controlling advocates. They cut everything sharp, very sharp. They're straight talkers. In terms of if they're legit, they're straight. Even if they're not legit, the way they will do their unlegit business is straight. Yeah, give it to me. Yeah, I'll take it myself. Back. Straight. But the hero side, when he's a hero, his name is Kweku Anansi. And when I was young, the stories my grandma used to tell me, she's Hausa, she's Muslim, but she used to tell me Kweku Anansi stories, which is a can, but we are all one. Because you serve a good example, so then the example is used all over. And the story went like this. One day, the pot of knowledge was sent down from heaven by Nane and given to mankind. And the deal that mankind made amongst themselves were, everyone has to experience kingship. Everyone has to experience kingship because we are all owners of what Nane has gifted us. Asasiya, Mother Earth. Everyone agreed. And for many centuries, this is how it worked. Today I'm the king. I give all the orders. If I'm good, I'm cheered. And my next rule is looked forward to. If I'm shit, and I can be disqualified forever. So 3 rules and that's it. Everyone took their turn and everyone kept going. When you die, your kids get their turn and everyone kept going. Everything was fine. But Kweku Anansi one day sat there and he thought to himself, nah man. Because happiness is meant to be forever. If you find happiness today, you should be able to keep it going. So a successive government should be allowed to stay and carry on. But I can go and give them a brilliant thing, and because of the rules, I have to leave tomorrow. And then the guy that comes on tomorrow doesn't follow suit what I done and fucks it up. So Kweku Anansi for nah, every time I go on, they have fun. And they love it, and they always tell me they're looking forward to it. So they should just give me the opportunity to just do it forever. And I'll make sure they do it. So Kweku Anansi has the plan. As normal, this is what he normally does. On his day, first thing in the morning, because the pot of knowledge, you sit on it and you get the knowledge of everything. Kweku Anansi got the knowledge to, he only targets the knowledge for nature. So by the time the citizens wake up, Kweku Anansi has ordered the dogs and the cats and the rats and the cockroaches and everything to clean the town, to do everything, to cook breakfast, to everything for these people and serve it and just go. When these people wake up, the cats and the dogs who are meant to be around are just lay there quietly, chilling. They didn't have a clue. They will eat that, they will be filled, but get this, lunch and everything is already being prepared in some kind of way where everything will be cooked just in time. There was wine and everything every day, but get this, the work. Even if it had been neglected for 365 days, when it gets to Anansi's day, it will all be done in one day. So the people that day rejoiced. Anansi sat down with his wife and he said, listen, my wife, you and the kids, I'm going to do something, yeah? But you will come up there with me and we will live happy forever and everyone will be happy. But I need your support. You know, without your support, especially my wife and my kid, I will fail. But it's a good thing. The wife said, Ejana said, what is the problem? He said, get this. I think our family should roll because every time we roll, it goes good because you follow my lead. But you don't roll the day after me. You roll about 500 whatever days after me. So get this, it messes up. But every time I roll is good. Every time you roll is good. Even our baby has learned from us how to roll. But these people keep messing up the system. So I think we should hijack the system and then give it to them properly. She agreed. So on Nancy's day, the people came to Nancy's door to pick him up. And normally they have cheerleaders. So whoever's going gets a really big ovation to get there before they lock up for the night because it's your day. But Nancy didn't come out. Instead, his wife came out with her girls, you know, all cheering. And they said that, okay, cool. And Nancy went in, tested something out. He wore a burqa to see how the people will feel about it. So they didn't physically see a Nancy going in, but they didn't question it. And Nancy went in there and did his thing. They enjoyed it. Good. You see, the next time was Anansi's turn. Sorry, Anansi's wife's turn. Anansi hatched a plan. He said to his wife, get all your burqa rapper girls. Get all your burqa rapper girls. Get them together. Because I trust women. I want to have a meeting. They had a meeting. He told the women, because get this, you see on the days where governance is going bad, the women suffer. So when Anansi told them that he wanted to hijack the thing, most of the women agreed. So on this day, they all wore their burqa rappers. First thing all morning before Anansi's day, they were running around town. Burqa rapper style, burqa rapper style. Got the whole town to wrap up in burqa rappers. So now it was time for Anansi's wife to go in. But she's dressed just like Anansi did when it was this turn, in a burqa rapper. Her girls were cheering, burqa rapper style, burqa rapper style, burqa rapper style, burqa rapper style. Yeah. She was going like this. As they know, she walks. She went in, they closed the door. She sat in the pot of knowledge for 24 hours, just like Anansi does it. Bang. When it was time to grab the next person, they grabbed the next person, got to the door. The door wasn't opening. It's meant to open at a certain time, but it wasn't opening. They started knocking, it wasn't opening. They went back and they thought, what's going on? By the time they knew it, there was a big massive feast with bare drinks. They forgot. Next thing they know, it's been a month. Everyone's forgotten, everyone's been so drunk and happy. But then one day, one guy, he was stood in front of the calendar and he saw his name and he said, hey, it's my turn next. And then as he turned, he fell. He tripped and fell into water and nearly drowned. When he woke up, he was sober. So he woke everyone up. And Nancy saw them coming, took his family and took the pot of knowledge, strapped it around his body and went up the longest, biggest, tallest tree. The people got their axes out and they started cutting the tree. Just before the tree was about to fall, Anansi threw his web into the air, acted like a sail, and took him and his family away. For months, they were chasing Anansi, but get this, all along, Anansi was giving them everything. but it was still chasing him. One day, they set up a trap, and as Anansi was trying to escape with his family, his son dropped. So they had his son. Now, they told Anansi, now we've got you. Now we've got you. Now you need to come back and get your son, because we know you love your son. So they were holding the son as hostage. Anansi delved into the pot of knowledge, got as much knowledge out as he can, communicated telepathically with his son, and told his son, I'm coming for you, son. His son went, Dad, I'm waiting for you. Anansi did it. He ended up in the camp. Next thing is on. He's got the pot of knowledge, so every time they're closing down on him, he'll dip in and find something and he will use it. Bang, 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 bang. He managed to get to his son, use the pot of knowledge to shroud him, and then got him out of there. But then, get this, they had the whole place surrounded, deep. So Anansi's only option was to climb up. So he climbed up the flagpole so high, and they all gathered underneath, and they started soaring in the flagpole. Anansi was scared that if he threw his web, and possibly if there was too much weight on the web, that both him and his son could perish. So he strapped his son with the web, single web, and he aimed as hard as he could. And he said, son, that's where you're going to land. And when you land there, just run. But when you land there, the pot of knowledge will be right behind you. Don't worry, because I'm not going to weight you down. I'm going to throw you, tie it behind you, and throw that. So when you get there, grab it and take it. Son, real well. Anansi got his son and threw his son. As his son was in midair, flying, gliding, he was trying to tie the pot of knowledge to the end. And he slipped, and the pot of knowledge slipped out of his hand. And Anansi watched as the pot went all the way down, into the crowd, and boom! Immediately, the pot of knowledge came apart. And all the knowledge that was inside it, just like water would, spread everywhere. Some landed on human beings, so they got the knowledge that landed on them. Some landed on the ground, so the knowledge is hidden in the ground, you have to find it. Some landed in trees, animals, this, that. From that moment, we couldn't understand each other. Some of us understood each other, but some of us didn't understand each other. Because everyone had different types of knowledge. Some people had the same, similar types of knowledge. And then we became divided amongst ourselves. Because the knowledge pot that held us together was now divided. So our minds, our hearts, our everything also got divided. The problem is, Anansi meant well. But one person cannot hug onto the power. It doesn't matter if you are the best. If the people say, all of us is ours, you're one person or you're two people, and all of us are saying, your 2 votes or your 3 votes cannot outweigh us. You have no right. Anansi sense is so. Sense is siwara. Anansi's sense, it is so. The sense, it stops right there. I'm telling you, your government don't care. Like I said, I'm not meaning to insult Ghanaians. These are my people, you're my people. But I want to give you an analogy. That's the analogy I was trying to give you earlier. Watch this. I've lived in England majority of my life. And there are farmers in England, but you see the soil of England is not as fertile. It's not as fertile as the soil of Ghana and as the soil of most even other European countries. England's soil is practically, yeah, good for potatoes or something. Yeah, but get this. You will find a strawberry farmer. Strawberry is a fruit, a very nice, delicious tasting fruit. But it likes the cold weathers. It likes the cold weathers. So get this. You'll find a strawberry farmer. And that strawberry farmer, for the farm, they have about 2-3 tractors or more. They have combine harvesters and different methods of harvesting, but with machinery that costs thousands of pounds. They will get this through government subsidies and plus, they're rich. But they will still somehow qualify for government subsidies because they're helping the nation. They will have at least 2-3 Range Rovers. And I'm talking from experience. I've dated a few girls. And that's what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? So get this. They'll have a few Range Rovers. Their kids will have access to them. But their kids themselves will have cars. They will live in a big mansion. And when you ask them, where do you go, what do you do, what education, they will have good education or access to good education. They live a good life. Every harvesting season, they're able to draft in and give jobs to many for harvesting. It's strawberries. I ask Ghanaian kids, yeah, many of them, what is a strawberry? I don't show them a picture, I just ask them. And they don't know. When I show them a picture, then they realize that they've seen it in a book. But it's not something that's common to their mind. It's not something that's common to their mind. And it's the same around the world. Strawberry is probably eaten mostly and known mostly, and not all over Europe and the Americas. But listen, if strawberry is not on a wealthy man's table, it doesn't matter. It's not strawberry on the top, it's cherry on the top. Do you see what I mean? But get this, you see in Ghana, we have cocoa farmers. Cocoa farmers. You see, from ancient times, if the empire's elite didn't see cocoa on their palates or chocolate on their palates, then the word aphrodisiac probably would not have been invented. From the poorest table to the table of the gods, let's say, chocolate is desired. The cocoa farmer of Ghana should be a pop star called Cocoa Star. I'm telling you, they cannot afford to buy Chalewate. I'm telling you, the cocoa farmer in Ghana, whose product is worldwide, whose product reaches the table of the strawberry maker and takes more space on the strawberry farmer's table than strawberries do on his own table. That guy cannot afford to buy Chalewate. Do you know what Chalewate is? Slippers. I swear down, you see a cocoa farmer who should be in some fancy work gear with some fancy boots on. You see them barefooted. They cannot afford to buy bicycles to transport their cocoa after they've worked hard to harvest it and dry it. So now they have to call in middlemen who will buy it cheap and transport it themselves. When I say Ghanaians are acting stupid, I don't mean it as an insult. But how do you have everything and yet have nothing? And how do you not see that as wrong? How do you not see that as acting stupid? When I lived in England, yeah, growing up, I was able to save my dinner money from school. And every month, I was able to buy a gold ring from Argos. And all 10 fingers, well, all 8 fingers and 2 thumbs, all had a ring on them. I was able to buy gold chains, gold earrings, gold studs, gold everything. Gold bangles, gold watches. I was able to buy gold everything. Gold was littered. I was even able to buy gold from a guy called Gemini, who's now been arrested and done for fraud. Yeah, and I was able to buy the raw gold and get him to form it. I was able to buy raw gold. Since I've been in Ghana, I haven't been able to access raw gold, but we did gold here. When I walk around the shops in Ghana, I don't see gold jewelry shops everywhere. I don't see artisans everywhere. When I go to London, when I was working for Gemini, because I worked for him for a while, transporting diamonds and, for precious cuts, taking it to the Jewish quarters. That was my job. I was about what, 16, 17 maybe? Yeah, so I wanted to buy something from Gemini. And Gemini, I didn't have all the money, so I was going to pay slowly. And he said, well, you can do some errands for me and I'll, cut that, because he trusted me. So next thing I found myself, okay, you see this? Yeah. All right, cool. Take it to here, knock on the door, back, back, back. No more than 3 times and just wait. When he comes, just say Gemini. He will let you in and go and see Jewish Dave. Ask for Jewish Dave. Don't give it to no one but Jewish Dave. You get me? So I did a few errands for him and worked for him for a little bit, and I paid off the rest of the gold, and I got a little gold locket made. At the time I had a girlfriend. Her name is Horse Teeth. And this was all for her. Now I got a son, and I'm in Ghana. And I was thinking to get a rock of gold, raw Ghanaian gold, and make him a crown. But I'm more likely to get that if I go back to England. Economics of scale. Are Ghanaians not acting stupid? You tell me.